What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So, if you've been paying attention lately, Smite 2 has been going through the ringer like very quickly. I'm sure that a bunch of random people are going to hate. Hi-Rez managed to pull back and save a lot of the damage they did. If you didn't know, a little over a year ago in August of 2024, Hi-Rez dropped the alpha for Smite 2, where it wasn't, you could play it every day, you could play it on this weekend, and then it was gone for a week, and you play it on the weekend, right? They dropped it. Crazy drop, to be honest. A lot of interest. Not a lot of people playing because it was a paid thing, but like I had 10,000 viewers. I had 8K or 7K on Twitch and like 3 or 4K on YouTube. So people were interested. It was crazy.
It was insane how big the game was when like they first dropped it. Like, he's right. People didn't really pay to play it, but there was a lot of interest. I think I was at like 400, 500 viewers, which is like really high for me. And then he said he's at like 7K. And I think we played, and it was like Double J also, who's sitting at like 1,000. There was a ton of interest in the game when it dropped.
But the game sucked. Like, right away, you could tell the game was really bad. So that is where Hi-Rez initially messed up. Everyone's, well, they should have dropped later, but we're past that. Like, if you're, everything is hindsight that you're going to say. Well,
I agree. I hate when people say, oh, they should have dropped later. Oh, they should have wrote Smite 1 for a little bit longer. Oh, they should have not talked about Smite 2. Yeah, who cares? We're past that. It's over. We can't change it. Like, maybe in like an alternate reality, we didn't do that, and we dropped it like a year later, and Smite 1 died, and then there was no interest in Smite 2, or like they don't talk about Smite 2, or they just don't do Smite 2. Smite 1's dead. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. You're just kind of like, because of how the game is gone, you're just saying, oh, we should have done this instead. Like, everyone was excited to see Smite 2 when it dropped.
Saying is irrelevant. Stop saying it. It's just broken record. Like, kind of almost like what you think I'm doing here, probably. But anyway, that was where things were, started. Problem. Because of that drop, nobody was interested in playing the game. No one wanted to play. It was bad. I didn't want to play. Then come January, February of this year, 2025, they fixed, well, they acknowledged the mistakes, and they made a big fix. Like right that day that they acknowledged everything, and they came out and had a big conversation about it. They dropped the big patch that fixed the gameplay. Then very rapidly, they changed the pace of God drops. They fixed basically everything, did more than fix. They made the gameplay great.
Yep.
Okay? And since then, from I'd say we'll say February 2025 until end of August, maybe like 25th of August, maybe just end of August. The player base was rising. Like we were on a good comeback.
It was
then all of us.
He says it was rising. I think it was very subtle how much it was rising. It was mostly just stagnant. I'm pretty sure. This is SteamDB to get the numbers on Smite 2. So we'll go like the past 6 months. So we're sitting at like 7,300, and then up until like August, we're sitting at like 7,400, 7,000. So it's pretty stagnant. It's not even rising really. Like if you look at it as a whole, this is like a pretty downward trend. Like, I mean, it comes back up, but like the game wasn't really growing.
Literally all of a sudden, like within a week, the player numbers started hard dropping again. I think we were peaking at like 7K, maybe 7,400, which is good. Like, that's on just Steam. Consoles bigger than Steam, much bigger than Steam. So probably peaking somewhere around 20K, maybe a little under, maybe 18, maybe a little over. I don't know. We won't ever actually have those hard numbers unless Hi-Rez drops. That's a good comeback to come from 1K concurrent players on Steam, get up to 7K in a year, essentially. But now we're seeing it fall off again. The gameplay has not got worse. The problem is they are, in my mind, this is where my problem lies. I think Smite 2's gameplay is better than Smite 1 ever was. Most people that played the game agree. Their problem is with the player base. And I think this is heavily stemming from Hi-Rez, and Kilgoon is the new person running Hi-Rez. He is very heavily focused, and his prominent drive is for new player acquisition and retention, which I respect. It's good to get new players, right? The issue is, in doing so, they are heavily neglecting, this is also my opinion, the veteran players, the Smite 1 players you would be pulling, trying to get to play Smite 2, the players that touched Smite 2 at the beginning, but haven't come back since they made it better, those players are being neglected. They say they aren't. I was sitting in a Q&A during one of their Titan Talks where someone asked a similar a question about it, and they basically said, we think we're doing a good job. Strongly disagree. The veteran players strongly disagree.
Yeah, I see where he's coming from, and I know the same Titan Talk where he's talking about where somebody actually asked a question like that, and Kilgoon said, I think we're doing pretty even, like 50-50 to new player, 50-50 to veteran players. And the issue I see with this is a lot of new player retention stuff is pretty easy to add. Like, there's not a ton of... I mean, there is effort, but there's not as much effort towards adding new player-specific things instead of, like, veteran things that would make, like, the veteran players happy. Like, the veteran players, they have a lot of things they want. They want, like, new maps. They want Fire Giant updated. They want Gold Fury updated. They want Pyro updated. They want new Conquest map, period. They want old gods. They want new gods. Granted, some of, like, the newer players want that stuff also, but, like, they haven't experienced all these characters in, like, Smite 1, so maybe they don't, you know, have expectations to have all these old characters. So a lot of this stuff that the old players want takes a lot of time to add in. They want more items or, like, updated item shops. They want focus on, you know, stats and what stats on the items are. There's a lot of things that old players want. It's just that stuff takes a lot of time to add. So I get where he's coming from, but the best thing to do is just to add in as many gods as they can, really. And that's kind of what they're doing.
I hear this every night while I'm streaming. I'm not saying you're not doing anything. Clearly, you guys are still dropping.
Yeah, YouTube viewership has not been too great for Smite 2. I've never been a very big YouTuber for Smite. Probably because of my consistency, among other things. So I've never really been that big. My numbers are definitely down a little bit, but, like, it also comes down to how very little I've been consistent, so.
Being an old god once every 2 weeks, you're messing around with balancing. The gameplay to me is good, so I'm not complaining about that. Your problem is the neglection. Is that a word? The neglecting is in the lack of content for veteran players. There is nothing making people want to log in. When you guys did your 1 month patches in Smite 1, I think it was a lot easier for you.
New gods or balance is, like, the thing that gets old players still playing.
You had more time, you could really hone in on things, and then you could kind of push and hype it up and build into it and make sure it was good. Well, the bugginess is making a lot of veteran players not want to play. The lack of good players, because your competitive scene is gone, is making people not want to play.
That part, yeah, 100% I agree with that. The lack of a competitive scene makes the high-end players from Smite 1 not want to play Smite 2, because there's nothing to really play that much for. The bugginess, though, the one thing I do hate, or I don't hate, but, like, I don't like that he mentions, like, the bugginess. It's going to be really hard for the game to be perfect when every ounce of their effort is put into adding new gods in. That's what all of their effort is put towards right now. They don't have time to dedicate to, like, testing the patch that much and like, finding out all these bugs. They have to just, you know, beat down these gods and add in aspects and do that, like, 100%. So it's hard for the bugs to be, you know, caught by them. So I don't like that point. I do not like that.
I didn't realize this problem until I started day queuing. I sit in casual queues from 4 to 6 minutes, which I don't think is insane, but I feel like that's a little long for a casual
I agree,
queue. Like, a ranked queue makes more sense to me, but a casual queue where you're just...
I'm a morning queuer, and my queues rarely hit 4 to 6 minutes. I feel like a lot of my queues are pretty quick. Maybe there's less people queuing casuals at his SR than there's players queuing ranked at my SR, maybe. I don't really know too much about matchmaking.
Just kind of filling, especially since you don't have roll queue, and it's just preferred roll, but you usually get off rolled anyway. There are some things that just don't make sense to me, and I don't understand what you're doing. And then when you dive into it, and they're saying they're doing really good with new player acquisition and retention, why are we losing players? Because I can answer the question. Your veteran and your consistent players are stopping. They're not playing anymore. And that fall off is higher than the amount of new players you're gaining.
Yeah,
so you're losing veteran players faster than you're gaining new players, which means new player acquisition being your primary focus is bad if you're going down in player base. It doesn't make any sense. I'm at the point now where I'm not, and no, they don't give me, they used to give me gems in Smite 1 every patch. I don't get diamonds in Smite 2. I bought my own diamonds. I'm not spending any more money on this game until I hear and see something that makes sense.
I like that. That's his prerogative. I just want to say, if you enjoy the game and you are like, and you would want to spend diamonds on the game, you should still spend diamonds on the game. If you enjoy the game, you're spending time on it, you want those skins, you should just buy those diamonds. That supports it. It makes the game grow. If you don't like the game, or if you are, you know, not wanting to buy diamonds, don't buy diamonds. But don't just like not buy diamonds because Kurt says he's done buying diamonds. If you like the game, you like the skins that are coming out, just buy diamonds. I've never really been a big diamond buyer. So in Smite 2, in Smite 1, I didn't really buy too much past like my first year playing, but I did buy a lot of gems my first couple of years playing. Just buy it if you want it. Don't buy it if you don't want to.
Right now, I've only talked about the player base going down, and it's not crazy severe. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel it more because I'm on the higher end of gameplay. So, like I said, the good players are leaving, so worse players are moving up, and it's making games not competitive and not feel good at all. I think if you look at it week to week, I'm sure Daedra can pull up the information. I can pull it up right now. I've looked at it like on and off. I stopped really paying attention to player bases, the numbers, because it really just didn't feel like it mattered. But now when I can physically feel it in the game, it matters, right? So if you look,
no, he's not whining about not getting free diamonds. He's just saying that he's currently worried about Smite's future and that he doesn't feel right putting money into the game. That's all he's saying.
Look at it on the Sunday, the 31st, we had 6863 as our peak player number. Then the next Sunday, we were at 6,200. Then the next Sunday, we were at 6,100. Then the next Sunday, we were at 6,000. And I'm telling you, I can feel this. And while those peaks are lower, the lows are even lower. Friday, 5,200 peak. The next Friday, 5,300 peak. The Friday after that, 5,300. So it kind of hovered. It's a problem, in my opinion. And if you're like game dead, the game is not, the gameplay is great. It's the way they're handling the non-hype and the non-content for the people that are the ones that play every week. For the people that are the ones that are coming from Smite 1. For the people that are the ones that grind the game. Now, I've given you general like problem.
I can feel that. As a veteran player, I can understand that. No issue with that.
What's going on. I didn't talk about the content yet. The content side of the game is insanely suffering. I mean, horribly suffering. And if you look back at when people were saying I was dooming Smite 2 in the beginning, which I was not. I was giving very constructive criticism, which they ended up using to make the game better. I'm not trying to doom right now. I am being very realistic. I'm going to tell you all what I think the good solution is, which are probably really hard to do solutions, or maybe just not even thought of. I don't know. But the content side of things are dying off, right? That has a trickle effect. I mentioned this in Smite 2 at the beginning when it was failing. The trickle effect of content not being absorbed is a very big indicator of the future of the game. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you don't like streamers or YouTubers or whatever content creators, you think they're irrelevant. You're trolling. You're completely trolling. I have had thousands of comments saying they're playing Smite 2 because of X video I made. So you're considering we only have thousands of people a day. You're like, it's crazy troll to begin with to say that. But the trickle down effect is if people aren't watching, word of mouth isn't going out. If people aren't watching, no videos are getting more views, pulling in new players, right? So if I make a really good video and the regular
this is also beyond just like new players. It's if like actual viewers aren't consistently like viewing and watching content, that means they're kind of like pulling back on like putting as much as much time as they used to into the game. If a group of people is pretty like obsessed with the game, that they're absorbing content, they're playing the game, they are you know, hyping up the Reddit or whatever, that's always going to be a positive. Currently, and I assume this is the point that he's going to be getting into, is even with new players, there's not a ton of hype going into the game. I didn't see that mechanics. I am interested in that, though. There's nothing wrong with being a weekend viewer. I mean, that's fine. If you don't like the game, you don't have to play it. Yeah, no new news has came out. No new news has came out.
Players consume it. It gets pushed out to more people. Maybe people that haven't touched Smite 2 yet. Maybe people that haven't touched in a while. The comments are there. Like if you read my comments, they're there. This is a fact. I'm not making this stuff up, right? If you aren't producing in-game content to make regular out-of-game content on that people want to watch or see or whatever, you're going to see it and feel it in the game. You're going to see the player base drop. You're going to see the people that make content leave. You've already seen the competitive players leave because you removed the SPL. The trickle down from these top end decisions are massively impactful, and I don't know why it's shocking to them. I don't know who their marketing lead is, but I feel like this should be very obvious, okay? Now, if you want the direct reason people aren't watching content, Smite 2 content has never truly been about just
save this for after, because I want to look at that.
Pure entertainment for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's always been about learning. Whether it's learning something fun to play for the day, whether it's learning how to play a god correctly, it's been about learning. Now, you remove the SPL, and there's no pro scene, those players leave. Those players...
To combo with this is, if you remove SPL, or I guess I should state beforehand, a lot of pro players were also content creators. If you remove SPL, they stop playing the game, they stop streaming, less people are going to check out, streams. We lost... I mean, adapting is like the only competitive player that's streaming Smite currently, other than me, I guess, that, and even he took like a break. Like, is there any actual ex-SPL players that are still streaming the game? I cannot think of one. Maybe I'm forgetting one. Nika. Okay, so Nika is one. Zatman. Nika and Zatman. So we have two streamers that are still playing the game and streaming compared to Sot, Benny Q. Okay. You guys are actually bangers. Paul Sot 5. Okay. So we have a little bit more than I thought. So we've got a good we've got about 5. But you compare that to how many we used to have. Final case, another one. Okay. Hey, I might be off a little bit. We compared that to how many we used to have, and we used to have probably 20 to 25 streamers that played the game and streamed it. A lot of them aren't playing it anymore. There's still a small chunk, but it's definitely, that's came down a lot.
Players leave, the next set of players that move up aren't really playing for anything, and then the players below them are seeing that, and the players below that are seeing that, and they're like, why? What am I learning for? Like, I can already, the bad players are already getting to 40, 4,000 rating, 4,400, whatever. I don't need to learn to get to there. So what do I need to learn for to get better? There's no pro scene. I'm not trying to be great. That has been insanely impactful on the numbers on content. Massive. And I'm not just talking about myself. This is the whole category, Twitch, YouTube, everything, the whole Smite 2 category. Now, my one issue I have is for high-res's side, if they're not going to do in-game content, the very least thing that they could do is Twitch drops. Their Twitch drops are coins. The coins in the game are coins you get from playing. You use the coins to buy skins.
Twitch drops are useless. Twitch drops are useless. This might be the worst group. We might not even have Twitch drops right now. The coins are useless. Right? Surely. I can't. How many people are excited to go get those? On the Travelers packs? You play the game enough, Doug, that you shouldn't even have to. Yeah. I don't watch streams at all, and I'm still at max coins. I don't somehow. You can buy market coins with your gems. Not even the diamonds, just the gems. So, like, even though you technically don't, you have probably 800,000 gems that you could put towards the coins. They're with the gems, the legacy gems, dummy.
In the Travelers packs, you max out on them so easily. I barely play anything but customs. I do not get coins in customs, and I always have like 15 to 20,000 coins to buy whatever I want. So watching streams is irrelevant in terms of drops. If you have a good drop, and this is proven, once again, I'm sure some haters,
this is fact.
You shouldn't need drops to make good content. That's not the point here, okay? I have made content in Smite that takes a week and everyone loves, all the comments are good, but it's one of my lowest viewed videos. That's not how this category and that's not how Smite works. It never is. It never will be. It's fine. But high-res can easily do their part in having a recolor skin every 2 weeks on Twitch for a drop, or every month. So people can come in, watch stream, enjoy the game, because that will get people to watch, put eyes on your game for nothing, because recoloring a skin is you changing a color code in the game. And then they come in for drops, they watch for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Hey, that looks fun. They're watching the stream. That looks entertaining. That Hou-Yi, that was a sick Hou-Yi play. I want to play Hou-Yi now. You get people to come play the game through that. That is another fact. I have tons of comments on it. People have come in. Hey, I saw you playing Artemis on stream. Now I'm playing the game. You can do that if you can get people to watch content. Hi-Rez not acknowledging that blows my mind. Once again, whoever is in charge of marketing, I genuinely don't know who it is. I've never known who like the marketing lead is.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that point. I don't think I would load up a game and watch a stream to get a tier 2 skin. But I'm not a big cow of I'm not a big consumer of like paying money to get a skin or something like that. So I don't know personally about that one, but there probably is people out there that see a sick skin or you know have the opportunity to get a skin for a game that they've played or have played before. Should like get them to come back.
It's embarrassing. Like from my perspective, it is genuinely embarrassing. Very, very sad thing to see, to be honest. And I know Reddit, everybody poops on other marketing is bad. I don't mean like, maybe hey, they need ads on Snapchat and everything. I'm talking about how they're running the genuine to like get people to play marketing, which isn't traditional like TV ads. That's not what works. And it's not paying a big giant streamer to come play your game for 2 hours. That doesn't work. You can't get Tim the Tatman, the Warzone player, to play Smite, and then his Warzone people want to come play Smite. That's not happening, and I don't know why that's not more obvious. So, player base low, content numbers low. The main question I get when I start talking about this on stream or if I bring it up somewhere is how do you fix it? I don't know that they can. Like, last time it was very obvious. They had to fix the game. The gameplay had to be better, and then, you know, that's how they fix it, which they did. And they fixed the player base. They got higher numbers. They're starting to lose that now. I believe the potential solutions are a mix of a couple things at the same time. You need hype in the game. It's like you hype up the game and get people to be interested in what's in the game, to come play the game, to try the things in the game. You need a 3-god or 4-god drop. You need a multiple god drop, meaning we don't just get Xbalanque with a week later aspect. That is so... I'm sorry, they made Xbalanque better, but it's still so boring. It is not getting people to play the game. Patch day isn't filled with a ton of players. Nope.
The thing is, like, it can only be like a limited amount of excitement. Even if like the coolest old god comes in, Cthulhu. Even if like Cthulhu came, people aren't going to be returning to the game, and it's not going to be in like massive droves because of like an old god dropping. I think they have to bring in like a new god that kind of brings the hype back. Like there's only so much excitement towards an old god. But like if a new god drops, like Aladdin, Hecate, hasn't there been 3 new gods? I don't know who the other one is. Bari, yeah. Bari Mordred, yeah. I think those ones have gotten like the most. I don't know when those gods drop, but I'm actually curious if I could like figure it out when those god drops and like if the game peaked. But there hasn't been one in a long time. I don't think there's been one. Was Bari. Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody cares. So obviously what you're doing is
Gilgan should adding Bari did nothing that they have to market a release up before the drop. Well, yeah, they should market it. They should market it. I don't know why they don't market it. No? Bari was May 5th. So May 5th, Bari drops. This is the week, and the patch drops on Tuesday, right? So then it went up like 100, went up 400, went up, stayed about the same, and then it started dropping again. Barrio was May. Barrio was March. Yeah, I mean, in March it just kind of dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. Yeah, adding Barrio really did nothing.
Working. It's time to just change things. Like, you did good up to this point, but you can't just become complacent with what you've done. It's time to fully change things up, in my opinion. They need a 3-god patch. They probably got to go back to a monthly patch instead of every 2 weeks. So that means the game will fall off a bit for a while and then have it spike and then maintain its spikes. 3-god drop. Two gods that Smite people really want, that were really popular in Smite 1, and then a new god. And they need to maintain that. We need to maintain new gods more than we've been getting. I realize they've had problems. They were going to drop Haster and had issues. I think the next god's supposed to be Balder, or I think Balder. I don't know, something like that. Let's see if we get it. I don't know. They need to have something that hypes up. Hey, look at this big drop. All these gods to come try and play. Look at how exciting they are, right? On top of that, with a new god drop.
I mean, to be fair, my opinion is the same with that. I think that they need to take like a month off and drop like 2 gods. That or even like take 2 months off and drop like one massive one. Big hype is bad. Well, big hype is better than no hype. And currently no hype is current. Like there's very little hype into the game. But like you could, what's today? Where's my phone? Today is what? September 26th. If you take off, don't drop a god in early October. Don't drop a god late October. Don't drop a god November. And then drop 4 gods like at the end of November before Christmas and just do like a little bit of balancing and stuff like that. Well, the 20k players that came, they played and they enjoyed it, but there's just not enough things for them to play. There's just not enough depth to the game.
They're going to need a new map. A new map has always been something that was exciting in Smite 1. There's no way it wouldn't be exciting in Smite 2. We've been playing the same map for a year and a month, a year and a month or two, right? Outside of that,
low key, that is kind of like a thing too, Chevy. Usually I don't think like new games impact Smite very much. I think that there is a realistic amount of big new games coming out that actually do partially impact Smite. And on top of that, I do think this is around the time of year where Smite just dies down anyway. Smite slows down a lot during this time period. Right before Worlds always happens, September, October, and I think before we had November Worlds, it extended like November and November and to December. And then January would hit, Worlds would happen, big spike, slowly goes down, big spike for a new season. So like currently this is just like a little bit of a slow period. Yeah, it is. It's kids going back to school. It's holidays. It's like multiple different things for why it's happening.
Just a basic edition items. They need fun, exciting items, not these basic like Lash, the solo lane item they put in. It's so basic that it's boring. There's nothing exciting about it. There's no counterplay around it. There's no like I'm gonna do this to do this cool thing in the game. It doesn't happen. There's no fun. Example. A lot of people don't realize this, but Fortnite originally was a PvE like building game. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was a PvE like zombie game. And nobody thinks of Fortnite like that.
As a last-ditch effort, they made a BR. I don't think they expected anything of it. And when it came out, no one really cared. A little bit, it had some players, but it wasn't tens of thousands. It was very low.
Tower defense,
then,
that's what it was.
A couple months in, Ninja, and I think it was Ninja and somebody else, figured out rocket riding. That clip went viral the night he figured out rocket riding. The next day, the game's player numbers like quadrupled. And then those kind of things kept happening. fun things in the game were figured out, shown off, content, game blew up. We lack that in Smite. There's like nothing fun. I think the last fun thing I did was 360ing off of a tornado off the little whirlwind things on the ground. I'm glad they left those in the game. At first I wasn't sure about them. I think they're fun now. Nothing like that has been put in the game, or even like, that's not even a big one. That's a very low tier one. Nothing fun has been put in the game. Nothing, like literally nothing cool, fun, exciting. If you can't pull someone in who doesn't play Smite and see it and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like I might not play the game, but that's cool. Then you're doing something wrong as a developer. I can watch something happen in League or Dota and be like, that was a cool play. I'm not gonna play the game, but I can acknowledge like that was a fun game. It made me want to watch it, right? The next thing is they have to announce an SPL. We do not need to go back to in-person where Hi-Rez is dropping millions of dollars on salary. None of that. No salary, nothing. You just need, hey, here is a tournament structure. You'll play online for X amount of months. The top teams will qualify to go play at a LAN, which isn't a viewing LAN. People won't be there. It'll just be a LAN at our studios. You'll play. The top 2 teams from here will go to Worlds at the end of the year. Then you have a couple more months, same thing, rinse, repeat. Top 2 teams of this LAN will play the first 2 teams at the Worlds LAN, right? Then you put money on the Worlds LAN. Doesn't need to be a lot. Clearly, the $400,000 prize pools you guys kept doing were irrelevant because nobody cared. It didn't build any hype. If you can't do multi-millions, it's not going to build up hype. So just do a couple 100,000, 100,000, 200,000. Just pay out the top 2 teams so it's earned. And then those players can earn their living, have fun playing the game, and you can still have the illusion of a true SPL.
You can't have an SPL until the game actually drops. Unfortunately. I think, at least. There's not been enough marketing put towards the game. And, like, technically SPL is marketing, but they won't be dropping actual money on the game until it's out of beta. And I don't think it's going to be out of beta for a while still. And so it's not going to be out of beta for a while. There's not going to be an SPL for a while. This is probably a pipe dream, at least currently.
Competitive scene like we used to have. It's enough. Like it's more than enough. We already dropped, I think, 60 to 100,000 in community tournaments, which failed horribly, miserably. And I don't really.
Mine went crazy. You
know why they
didn't
did it?
Ask me again.
I wouldn't say I was consulted, but I talked to them about being one of the people that ran the tournaments, and it came down to it was going to be like. Bobby was the one who, at the time, you guys didn't know Inbound, he was running regular tournaments at the time. And if I were picked, it would have taken away from him. So I told them, like, just let him have it or see, like, maybe I'll go, like, if you want to do both of us run the tournament. Like, I didn't want to take it from him. So he ended up running one. Christy Dixon ran a 3v3 one, and then they ran an EU one. They reached 20K. At that point in time, when I was streaming, I had more viewers than they did running a $20,000 tournament. If we had just put that into a LAN, which
at least I don't know too much about like Chris's and weekends, but how I ran mine got like 7,000 viewers. Mine actually got a lot. I don't know too much about theirs because I wasn't really interested in watching the 3v3 and then I don't know like any of the European players. But I actually got a lot of viewers during mine. A lot of viewers. And again, maybe all of us did, but I don't think we could just getting around. Well, my personal stream was only getting like 700 or like 600, maybe just under a K. So maybe he's just talking about him specifically versus me specifically stream. Maybe that's true, but like across everyone that was in my tournament, I was getting a lot of viewers, and I just didn't care to have everybody just watching my stream. I wanted people to stream their own so that you could get like a bunch of different point of views. That's what I wanted.
Realize there are extra costs in a LAN. You have to pay for a lot to run a LAN. But if we had done that, you actually would have built up hype and you wouldn't have lost the entire competitive scene of your game. So I believe the SPL has to come back. Truly. I think it does. And then there are other little things they can do, but the drops, I think they need to start putting some work into their drops. Look at Rust, for example. Every time they put in a singular really cool drop, game blows up for like a month. The streamers come back and play. They do a big event around it. Just do a monthly reskin and then once a year do a really cool skin for a drop. That gets people watching your game, gets people playing your game because they're, streamers are playing, people are making content, people are enjoying things. There's something for you to gain from watching. Then you realize, hey, I kind of want to play. I'm watching this game. I might as well play it. Do it, Hi-Rez. I don't know why you're not doing it. It is embarrassing at this point. Now, I've been rambling. I wrote stuff down and tried to stay in an order. It's at the point now where your average streamer in Smite is at 100 or less viewers. I'm sitting at like 400 to 600 depending on what's going on. If we do Elo Hell, we're around 600. If we are just having a base day, probably like 450, closer to 500, but like 450. This is the worst viewership has ever been. It's worse than it is even close to ever in Smite 1. It's bad on YouTube. Shout out to you guys watching, by the way. This is not shitting on you guys in any way.
He's shitting on me.
Acknowledging the way things are. If the numbers keep dropping, your smaller streamers can't make a living playing the game. And then you're gonna see them leave. It just makes sense. Even for me, I can get 400 viewers on pretty much every other game that I play, especially if it's a new game. So if I'm not having fun because you're not creating in-game content and I'm not playing the game, and then your streamers right under me aren't playing the game, they're playing other games more, and they start seeing growth in other games, they're gonna swap games. You're gonna lose your content players, your content creators. You're gonna lose the communities around them, and then that's gonna trickle off players, and you're gonna see things get much worse. Just informing you. I hope Hi-Rez watches the video. I know they used to watch stuff, so I'm gonna assume they're gonna watch this. There's no reason for you not to do a lot of these things. I realize the multi-god drop is very, it's a lot of work, right? Things will have to change. I realize the new map, ton of work. I think people have said you guys have been building a new map for a while. I wouldn't really expect a new map till like January, February, but your game is gonna bleed horribly over the next 3 months if you don't do something. I'm giving you what I think is the overall fix to just go back to normal, and then I'm giving you a quick solution for content, which you should be able to implement in 5 minutes, like every other.
I think a lot of Smite viewers left. I think mostly people that watch Weekend now are just Weekend viewers who, if Weekend stops streaming, Smite's going to get less viewers because they just watch Weekend. I think a lot of people that watch Weekend used to be just Smite fans, people that like Smite. So I do think there would be quite a bit of a fall off if Weekend stopped streaming Smite, because those people don't watch anyone but Weekend. I don't know. What he says is definitely, it's definitely something that could fix the game, but I don't think it's plausible from Hi-Rez's point of view. They can't just, not drop something over October and then at the end of October drop two old gods and a new god and then new items, and then do that again in November and then do that again in December. It's not a plausible thing. The Twitch drops one is definitely possible. I just don't know how much that would affect it with a reskin of an already prismed skin, or just a skin that doesn't have a prism that you have to watch for that, unless it's just a super cool skin. But yeah, I don't know too much about that. And then I think the SPL thing is just not plausible at all until later. The only thing I can think of is that in terms of SPL, they say 2026. What is it? We got 3 months. 2026, we're going to try to get the game as good a shape as possible, and then 2027, we're going to have a pro league. If they hyped it up as something in the future, maybe that could be something. But if it's too far out that people lose interest really quickly, which I think a year is too far out, that's not a plausible thing, and I don't think it's ready for a pro league scene by 2026. But what they could do, and this is kind of what I want them to do, is I want them to pause patches for a little bit. The game is at a lull. Adding one god doesn't really do much. I actually am curious. Did the game pop up a little bit on Tuesday when they dropped him? Wait, so our worst day of the week was when they dropped the new god? Is that a common thing? Because Tuesday was low. Wait, that is... Why are Tuesdays... maybe Tuesdays are just low viewership times. Yeah, but what I would want them to do is I would want them to pause patches through October, through November, and then either early December or late November. What was that? 3 to 4 to 5 old gods, or like 3 old gods and a new god. New items. I don't know. Like I'm not a developer. I don't know if any of this is even possible. I'm just spitballing. Just add like a big patch with like as much stuff as you can. As much stuff as you can. Is it plausible? No idea. No idea. But that's what I would want. Because I mean, I'm playing right now, Friday at noon, and we're sitting at 3,100. Yeah, that's why I want them to drop like a massive patch right before Christmas, before they take their Christmas break. And then that patch could ride us out until at least February. Honestly, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm not a gamer. This game is just boring and frustrating me. I've played with the same tendencies no one plays anymore. Feels like it's towards less skilled players, so one bigger Hades extra dash, new 2/3 of HP. I don't think new alt is really the big thing. New alt doesn't really do that much more damage. Maybe a little bit more, but... Because it would be buggy with no support over the holidays? Well, say they take the back half of December off. That like, let's say that's what they're doing. They drop a big patch in November, the last month of, or the last Tuesday of November. They have 2 weeks to then fix bugs into December, and maybe start like a new god or two, and fix those bugs, and then that will last you through the back half of December into January, and then February they can start up another big patch.